about to go live.
Welcome to the 30-minute hour. It's the personal development podcast for entrepreneurs who are looking to level up and become unstoppable. I'm your host, Eric Twiggs, your procrastination prevention partner. Joining me as always, you know him as the super CEO, the business strategist extraordinaire, and all-around good guy, Ted Fells.
Happy Thursday, everyone. Happy Thursday. Glad to be here.
Happy Thursday, Ted. You know, Ted, we haven't done a podcast together in a long time, man. You know,
we done a podcast in an hour. We were just doing a podcast an hour ago. I ain't had a chance to get nothing to eat. Tried to run to the bathroom real quick, man. Matt, it's tough, man. It's tough. It's tough out here. It's hard out here in this podcast. These podcast streets. It's hard.
The streets.
These streets, man. It's hard.
You got to be about that life. It's not for everybody. No, it's
That's right. About that podcast life.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. So last week we had David Mulanos on our show last Thursday, and so we did a swap, and we were on his show. The Something on My Mind podcast will be coming out shortly. Great guy. It's a great episode. That show is already getting a lot of downloads already. So make sure you go back and check it out. It's about the show we did with him last week was about how to avoid flipping burgers when you're 70. So that's got quite a few responses already. So, as you can tell, this is not your everyday podcast.
Even if it seems like we do it every day, it's not your everyday podcast.
Folks, I assure you, they don't do it every day.
Right.
It feels like it sometimes, but no, it's not your everyday podcast. But when we do these Thursday episodes, it's usually a game changer. You know, and I think this week is going to be the exact same. You know, you're going to learn some things about creating raving fans and getting referrals and some of those other things that could take your business to that next level. And it's an excuse buster, Ted. It's going to be another excuse buster show. You have these excuses as to why you can't grow your business, why you can't get more customers. Oh, but Eric, you don't understand. It's a pandemic.
It's the holiday season.
Right. It's the holidays.
My dog has been sick. It's always something, man. It's always something.
Right.
Couldn't afford gas in my car when I work from home.
Right. Right.
Exactly. See, Matt, you know about this, right? So yeah, this is
Bunch of excuses.
Excuse busting episodes.
Well, let me tell you one thing I will say real quick. Like with my company, right? You'll hear someone say, "Now, this is not an excuse." Every time someone says this is not an excuse, it's gonna be followed with an excuse. Just no, that sure sound like an excuse. But yeah, that sure sound like no, but it's not an excuse. I'm not saying we can't do it. What you telling me that for? I'm just letting you know that we may not get it done.
My sixth grade English teacher, spelling teacher, Leroy Gallery, taught us a little quick poem, like 4 lines. Excuses are tools of incompetence to build monuments to nothing, and those that usually specialize in them are seldom good in anything else. Excuses, excuses, excuses.
We're very familiar with that.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Very good one.
Yes.
Very good one.
Absolutely. Get away from those excuses. So we'll help you with that. This is an excuse busting episode. But make sure you share the show.
Share the show. Don't
Absolutely.
Share the
Absolutely. Our goal is to help you to laugh, to learn, and ultimately level up. If you feel like we've done that for you, please make sure you share this with someone that you know is going to need and use the message. And don't forget about the What Now movement. That's right. Make sure you join the What Now movement Facebook group. We want to inspire you to pivot instead of stop whenever you run into a crisis. We have these themed days within the movement. Today is Thankful Thursday. So take time to focus on the things that you're grateful for and thankful for as you're going about your business. All right. So Ted.
Yes, Eric.
I've got something that's on my mind.
Please share, Eric.
All right. So Ted, I want to talk today about how do you create lifelong customers and raving fans. That's right. We're going to talk about how to create lifelong customers and raving fans. And I think about this topic, I'm reminded of a recent experience I had at the Ritz-Carlton Hotel. Okay, I treated my wife to this weekend at the Ritz-Carlton, celebrating our wedding anniversary. I'm trying to stay in her good graces, stay at the doghouse, all that good stuff. So we go to the Ritz-Carlton. I made the reservation for dinner, and I mentioned in passing to the people at the desk that it was our anniversary. I wasn't expecting anything special. I just said, hey, we're here celebrating our anniversary. So 20 minutes after we're seated for dinner, the waiter comes over with a card that's signed by the entire staff wishing us a happy anniversary.
Wow, that's nice.
Right. I was blown away. So then the next morning, I go to the workout facility. Each machine had its own bottle of water with a towel in it. Right. So then fast forward the following morning, we go to breakfast. So there's a new greeter at the breakfast cabinet when you're going into the little restaurant. She hadn't met me, but first thing she says to me is, "Oh, good morning, Mr. Twiggs. Are you enjoying your anniversary weekend?" So I get the hotel bill, and I have to confess it was much more than I was planning to pay. But look, I mean, the experience was so remarkable, I didn't even think about questioning the price. I became a raving fan with the potential of becoming a lifelong customer. So here is how you create lifelong customers and raving fans. So this is the part of the show, Matt. This is the part of the show where we just need people's undivided attention, right? We have people who they listen to us while they drive. This is where you just need to pull over to the side of the road. You know, some people, they listen to us while they're in the gym, when they're on the treadmill. This is so important. You just need to press pause on the treadmill. Ted, anything else that people need to do?
Matt, this is where you got to put the ham sandwich down. No matter how good the sandwich is, you got to place it down. You got to focus in because it's about to get good. You can pick it back up. You can pick it back up.
All right, good, because I need 2 of them probably.
That's right. You got to pick it back up.
So you got to put that ham sandwich down and really lean in. So this is how you create lifelong customers and raving fans. You have to focus on doing the ordinary things in an extraordinary way.
Whew.
Amen.
Wow.
That's right.
Focus
on doing the ordinary things in an extraordinary way. That's what the Ritz-Carlton did. Think about it. I'm a raving fan. I'm talking about the Ritz-Carlton on this podcast.
Yeah.
So you have to think, if I encounter your business, am I going to be talking about your business on this podcast, saying how great it was and saying how it was remarkable? And something to think about. I mean, that's the theme. And our guest today has literally written the book on creating lifelong customers and raving fans. He actually did. He wrote the book on that. He's the author of, it happens to be right there.
There's the book.
That's the book he wrote. I wasn't playing. He literally wrote the book on the topic. More Word of Mouth Referrals, Lifelong Customers, and Raving Fans. So since 2002, he's spoken at hundreds of business events, seminars, trainings, conferences, and associations, including SCORE, the Better Business Bureau, the National Paving Expo, and the Vacational Rental Success Summit in Toronto, Canada. He's a professional member of the National Speakers Association, and his companies have received numerous awards, including 40 Under 40, Chambers Small Business Owner of the Year, Top Web Firm 7 years in a row, and the Better Business Bureau Torch Award finalist. He is somebody. Please join me.
Matt, wait. Matt's got that look like, I am pretty awesome.
I am somebody.
I am pretty awesome.
I am somebody.
I did do all those things.
Good stuff.
I did do all those things. And here's the thing about that. Let me just touch base before we dig right into referrals. Because I want to talk about mindset in business really, really, really quickly. For so many years, I didn't even feel like I was a success. Until one time in about 2013, 2014, in the same week, 2 people told me I was successful. 2 different people, 2 different conversations. And that's when I started believing I was successful. The inner critic that we have as business owners, we need to push that down. We need to push through that. We need to drive forward. We are better than what we think we are. We do belong here. We bring something to the table. All of us do. And we can be even better if we don't allow that self-limiting belief to hold us back.
I'm glad you mentioned that, because I mean that's a common thing. I was reading a study that said we have 6,200 thoughts a day, and for most people, 80% of those thoughts are negative. So especially if you're in business, it's really easy to start getting into this whole negative mindset.
Yeah.
They're gonna hold you back.
Yeah.
So
let's talk about how these people can get some referrals and some raving fans, huh?
Absolutely. But let me formally introduce you. Please join me in welcoming to the 30-minute hour podcast, Matt Ward.
And the crowd goes wild. Yeah. I'm so excited to be here. It's been a long time coming.
Matt,
Yes.
Hold on. Matt, that's the first time I've seen a guest say, enough of this getting ready to introduce me. I'm coming in. I'm coming in. So I'm pumped up.
I've watched enough of these Facebook Lives. People hang out. They all quiet. They're not participating until they get introduced. No, I'm like, this is not my show. This is your show. But I'm trying to bring some value. I'm trying to be part of the guys. Like I want to be part of the guys. You guys is the people when I get you guys in the same room where I'm buying you guys beers, man. That's what's happening. Like this is what's happening.
All right, I'm pumped up.
Come on, let's come on down to Florida. Let's get on the boat. Let's do it. Yeah. I don't have a boat. I have a boat membership. It's better than having a boat. Just use other people's boats. Yeah. So So what do you want to know? I mean, look, I think you explained it. Like, so the Ritz is known for their customer experience, right? But everybody makes excuses and says, "Well, I'm not the Ritz-Carlton. I can't do what they did. I can't get my team to line up and sign a card. I can't get my team to remember your name. I can't get water bottles out." No, that's not true. It's systems and process. And at the end of the day, what I talk about in my keynote, what I talk about in my book, is that there's 4 components in order to get more referrals in your business. And the very first one is over-deliver. The very first one is over-deliver. And that means not saying I'm under-promising and over-delivering. No, because now you're stacking the deck in your favor. That's bougie. Who wants that? Like, just do you as best as you can, and then over-deliver on that. What do your customers and clients expect of you? And then do it one more better. That's what I say, is one more better, right? So if you're going to send, I know a friend, I use this as an example, a speaker friend, he does a training in Toronto, Canada, and people fly into the hotel, and then he picks them up at the hotel and brings them to the training location that morning. He sends an Uber, right? That's what you would think? No. He sends a stretch limo. And Majid reports to me that not a single person has refused to get into that limo. Right? Of course not. How would you feel, Eric, if they gave you a limo that morning to take you to the airport or home or wherever, right? Or even just take you on a ride, right? That would have been amazing. So it's about being one more better. That's what it's really about, right? And that's the first component. The second component is listening. Do you listen with more than just your ears? Do you listen with your eyes? Do you pay attention to what's going on in front of you? What sports teams' clothing people are wearing? What their hobbies are? Do you pay attention on Facebook when you connect with people? What they post about, their kids' names and all those things, right? So do you pay attention? The third is surprise, which is what they did with you, Eric. They surprised you, and I define that as an unexpected gift at an unexpected time. That's a handwritten card. The easiest, most inexpensive way to do that is a handwritten card. But even if you can't do that, make the gift about them, not you. So right now, I don't really know. Do you not like bacon? That's not really the question. The question is, do I? Yes, I do. And my address is on my website. You can go find it there at mattwardspeaks.com. And if you want to mail bacon, you're welcome to do so. Thank you very much. Right? And so I use that line all the time, and inevitably people mail me bacon, and it works. And then I don't have to buy bacon. And so when there's a shortage of everything with a supply chain, I don't have to buy bacon. So here's the thing. But that's what I get known for, right? My hobby is ATV, and people know me for that, right? But don't gift me something to a place I would never use. Like a restaurant I would never walk into. One time, I won't get into details because they could be watching on this Facebook, but I got a gift to like a restaurant like really older people go to and hang out, and it's not what I would go to. Not, and it was $100, so I used it at the bar, right? So but they had an opportunity to just get me $100 online ATV warehouse gift certificate, same dollar amount, but way more memorable, right? And so I think that's the big thing, and then the final pillar is doing sort of non-self-serving things, right? Things that you do for others that don't have any value or benefit to you. And that's just like, I don't know, sharing something on social media that doesn't benefit you. You know, driving somebody to the airport, that doesn't benefit you. You're not doing it because you want to ride and return. You're doing it because you care. And so if you care about people, you'll get referrals. And if you stay in touch with people, you get referrals. You and I both know that in the service-based industry world, when you ask an owner of a service-based company why their clients are coming to him, the number one answer is because they can't get hold of their current provider. It's not quality. It's not customer service. It's not what it is. It's because the other people aren't responding. Now, that might fall under customer service, but if you call a service provider, a contractor for your home right now, and they don't answer, what are you doing? You might leave a message. You might, 50%. But when you put down the phone, are you waiting for them to call back? No, you're calling the next one. Because you don't want to wait. And if you have a current provider and your response time is great, and when I had my agency, 65% of our clients told us that they came to us because they could not get a hold of their current web provider. I mean, guys, that's just gross. What systems do you have in place? You know, I had to have somebody fix my pool. They scheduled an appointment on a Saturday to have the technician come out. The technician never showed up. I sat at my house all day on Saturday. All day to have a technician show up at my house. Never showed up. I called 5 times. I emailed. No response. I went to Facebook, sent a message. No response. No response on Sunday. Monday at 9 a.m. I get a phone call. Wow. First thing I said is, you think if you have an appointment scheduled for a Saturday that you'd have some sort of support? And who's going to refer them? And I told him, I said, someone referred me to you, and when I go back to him and tell him the problems I have, do you think maybe he's not going to refer you anymore? And they were like, yeah, probably. By the way, that service was in August. July. It was in July, right? It is now November, and they just sent me the invoice for it. I actually thought that they weren't going to bill me because they messed up like 3 times. And then I got an invoice, and then they go, oh, it's overdue. It's overdue? You sent me the first invoice in November. What do you mean it's overdue?
Yeah, so Matt, help me out, Matt. Like, this all sounds so basic to the 3 of us, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, even the thing of calling people back. Like, I was in a Toastmasters club, and the Toastmasters organization was packed with really good speakers, and they would always get these new people, and you'd ask each new person, well, you know, why'd you join this club instead of the other ones? And they always said the same thing, that I called, Joe answered, or I called and Joe called me right back. And that was the difference. Club was packed. So my question, like, that's so basic. Why do most businesses miss that?
Because it's simple to understand, but not easy to execute.
Yeah.
Because we pack our calendars. We don't have systems and process. We don't know who's calling who or doing what. What Joe had figured out is all the emails or all the phone calls are going to come here this way, and I'm going to call them back, and they're a priority for me because I want this group to be successful. But oftentimes what happens with businesses is they'll delegate information, and then people will drop the ball. And that's what happened in that case of the pool repair company, is that they just didn't have any systems. And I finally told them, I said, look, it's 2021. I have an expectation that you'll answer your phone when I call. You should have a phone service that forwards your phone numbers over to you on the weekends if you're booking appointments on the weekends. Many of my clients that I work with from a coaching perspective on referrals have this problem. The reason they actually come to me is, yeah, they get the concept of caring, but they don't know how to insert the caring process into their business. And that involves touch points, CRM, social media. There's so much involved. And it's different for everybody. With some clients, we talk about how we use social media to create phone calls. And what I mean by that is what happens on social media then triggers an action on your part to pick up the phone and call someone and say congratulations or have a conversation, right? Alternatively, there are people that don't want to do that. And in that situation, what they're doing is they're basically saying, okay, I'm going to, I'll write handwritten cards. And so the trigger is any new LinkedIn connection gets a handwritten card. Any new podcast appearance gets a handwritten card. Any new sale gets a handwritten card. Any referral, right? So there are triggers that produce actions. And so what we have to do is figure out what's going to work for each company because everybody's different. Some people are mobile, some are not. Some people literally work out of their cars. Other people work from home, other people work from an office. So it's different for everybody. And it's just about wrapping your head around this idea. What I tell people now is if you just want to see how this works, pick up 20 note cards and then address them to 20 different people and mail them. And then next month, I want you to get 20 note cards and address them to the same 20 people and mail them. And the third month, do the same thing. 20 note cards to the same 20 people, mail them. Now, each of these 20 people have received 3 note cards over 60 days, 90 days. Mm-hmm. I guarantee you're going to get a referral. You may not sell it. You may not close it. It may not be a lot of money, but you're going to get a referral. And here's why. A, you cared about them because you didn't put anything in there about your service. And B, you showed up, which no one else is doing. This book, More Word of Mouth Referrals, this is 45 different tips on how to show up and stay in touch with people. I wrote this book 3 years ago, right? On the back of this book, not the back, but in the back section of the book, I believe in this thing called the high five effect. Is this idea that you would just high five anybody in any office building you ever walk into. And when I talk at conferences, it's so fun because I get people in the crowd like high fiving and stuff. And then I say to them, hey, when you walk out of this ballroom, just walk down the hotel hallway and just start high fiving people who just like were staying in the hotel. They'll have no idea what you're doing, but they'll high five you back. And even with COVID right now, where people might not want to high five, if you lock eyes with somebody across a room, a networking room, and you start walking toward them and put up a high five, I give you a 75% chance that they're going to high five you. But I give you a 100% chance that they're going to smile. And that is a joyous, momentous occasion. And that's why I wrote my second book just a couple weeks ago called The High Five Effect, How to Do Business with People Who Bring You Joy. Because the worst part of running a business is the miserableness about it. The loneliness. The frustration. The business owning you and not you choosing to own the business. And so they're compatible in that sense that if you care about other people, you're going to have a lot more joy in your life. You know? I mean,
so this is interesting. So let's give some people some context, though. Like, how did you just become the referral guru?
Yeah.
Did you just wake up? Were you a kid just referring people? Or
so
how did you get to the point where you got to this?
It is so funny because I want to digress a minute and tell you in 1990, I was living in Northern Virginia, Washington, D.C. area, your guys' neck of the woods, or one of you. And my grandfather was a judge for the Social Security Administration. And he said, boy, let me tell you something. It's about who you know, not what you know. And I was like, nah, I need to know something if I get in a conversation. And he's like, no, I'll tell you. It's who you know, not what you know. Now go on your bad self or something like that, right? I was like 18 years old. I didn't know what I was talking about. And then I realized as I built a web design agency that I didn't want to cold call anybody. So I went out and started networking. I went to every chamber event. I went to every networking event. And I was the guy in the room that everybody came to because I knew the people that they needed to access. I was the connector. And so they come to me and say, do you know someone? Do you know someone? Do you know someone? To the point where I had a chamber president come to me and say, mind you, I owned a web design company. And he said, hey, Matt, do you know anybody that does websites? I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
But that's because I never led with the sale, right? So I was all about networking, all about relationships, and all about staying in touch. And that's how the last 4 years I owned that company, from 2014 to 2018, not a single new client came from other than referrals. And they came from referral sources, not from clients. Clients don't want to refer you. They want to keep you to themselves. They don't want to share you. When they need you available.
Yeah.
If they share you, look, you're not a widget. You're not Amazon. You're not car sales. You're not a widget, right? You're a service provider. And so you have only so much bandwidth is what is in their mind. So instead, you go to the source. So I went to IT professionals, managed service providers who were getting phone calls for websites, and they didn't do those. And so I teach people how to go after the center of influence. And how I landed on this topic was when I sold the company, I was talking to another speaker friend. Her name's Sonia Stetzler. And I said, you know, Sonia, I have no idea what I'm going to talk about once I sell this company. It was 6 months before selling the company. And I knew I was going to sell it. And she said, well, tell me a little bit about your website stuff. Why don't you talk about websites? I'm like, I don't want to talk about websites. Everybody talks about websites. Boring to me. I'm getting out of the business. I don't want to talk about it. Said, okay. But tell me about the company. And I told her that thing about the 4 years with all the referrals. And she said, well, you need to talk about that. How you stayed in touch with all these people. And I said, well, I don't know. I just cared about people. She said, that's what you need to talk about. I said, you mean tell me people don't care about people? She said, no, we do. We just forgot. And that's the component that triggered the book. And then I went back and retraced all my steps of all the years of owning the web agency. And I said, that's what I did. I delivered Frosties from Wendy's to people's houses, to people's offices, right? And then just walked out. Here, enjoy the Frosties. See you later. I did it with my staff all the time. So that's how I got into being the referral guy, and then just kind of really just focusing in so tightly on that to make sure that people never ask for a referral. Now, that's also what makes me different, guys, is that there are a lot of business coaches or sales coaches out there that believe in asking for the referral. They believe that at the point in which the height of the customer experience happens, that you should say, well, I've helped you and my life lives off of referrals. I'd be honored if you would refer me. Or that email signature line that says the best compliment you can give me is a referral to your friends and family.
Yeah.
Dude, that's gross. That's not the best compliment. I'm cute is the better compliment. Right? Or here's some bacon. Whatever. Right? So don't ask. It makes you look desperate. When you write handwritten cards, don't put your business card in. They know who you are. The minute you put your business card in, it turns it around and makes it about you. Right? And so I just started teaching that it all comes from the centers of influence and the circle of people who have access to the people you need to sell to. That's who you build relationships with. The majority of the people that refer me never buy my service. And that's what people really got to... They just always think that they get it from clients. But they don't. And oftentimes I'll be in an audience, there'll be 100 people, and I'll say, raise your hand if the number one source of business, new business in your current business is referrals. And everybody raises their hand. I said, now keep it up if you have a referral strategy, a referral marketing strategy. And everybody puts their hand down. Because they don't think about it. They just think, oh, if the customer's happy, oh, customer service is our referral strategy. That's not it. That's lame. You know, if I say to 5 business owners, what sets you apart? What are all 5 going to say? Customer service.
Yeah.
Freaking lame.
We're so awesome at it. We're so awesome.
Gross. It's just gross. Because it's not true. It's not, and you can't control the customer service. You can control the customer experience, but you cannot stand up on the pillar and say that you have the best customer service. That's not your right. That's your customer's right. And they don't tell you that. How many people tell you have the best customer service? Like Eric, seriously, you had this great experience at the Ritz, and you told everybody on the podcast. How many people at the Ritz did you tell?
Nobody.
That's my point.
I didn't say anything. I was just blown away.
Yeah.
And I've been talking about it ever since.
Yeah. And that's what you want, right? Now that was a great, and that hit that over-deliver component and the surprise component. So the pillars can be combined together and make different things and make the referral piece happen. Ritz is known for that. You know, they send a lot of people to a lot of training consistently, and they've done a great job. And their front of the house is amazing with stuff. And if we can just learn 1/10 of what the Ritz does to help our small businesses, our micro businesses, our solopreneur businesses, just get another leg up. Here's the thing. Most small businesses, guys, they think like this. I need a lot of customers. No, you don't need a lot of customers. You need just a handful. Just do the math. You don't need a lot. You don't need thousands, right? But moreover, here's the funny part. How do you outrun a bear? Yeah, you don't, guys. Ted, you outrun Eric. Right? You outrun your friend. That's how you outrun a bear.
Outrun your slow friend.
That's right. And in business, you outrun your competition.
Yeah.
So if all you do is stay in touch on LinkedIn and emails and phone calls and text messages with the strategies inside this book, then you win. You win. And you don't have to be number one. You just have to be not second.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it really just needs to be highlighted, the difference between this customer satisfaction and creating raving fans. One of the things I always say to people is that, like, I've never gotten off of a plane and then jumped on a podcast and said, man, I just flew XYZ Airlines and we didn't crash. We actually got there on time. They didn't lose my bags. Oh, it was great. No, I expect those things, right? But I think sometimes people confuse that with customer satisfaction or going above and beyond. Talk to that. I think they need to understand what the extra component really is.
Yeah, and sometimes we just don't slow down enough to realize that. Now we just go.
Yeah.
And then we don't communicate with people. I called somebody on the phone today. You know what the answer was? They picked up, they said, oh my God, somebody called me? Because everybody's just texting now, sending emails. It goes to spam or whatever. People avoid it. They lose it. They forget it. Yeah.
When I think about, customer, like the customer experience, and sometimes I think it's something that's organizational, right? Like you said with the Ritz-Carlton, right? And I see it, and Eric and we talk about this all the time. I think it's even with Chick-fil-A, right? Like the way they operate, I think it's organizationally. Everybody, like they're the only people that can get some 16-year-olds to say, my pleasure, and how may I serve you? Like there's no one else. Like you can't even get them to 16-year-olds to say, excuse me, when they just step on your foot, right? But they got that down. And in every store, it's like that, and they're like little robots, right? But they kind of got that.
And at Walmart, it's like, hey, you can check out over there.
Yeah, it's over there. Go self-check. Don't you want to do self-check instead of coming through the right? So they got that down, right? But then there's some situations where there's an individual that just goes above and beyond, right? So I'll tell you, one time I went to this IHOP, right? I was getting a salad and I was getting pancakes. I was at this IHOP, right? And there was a young lady there. She just did such a great job that, and I gave her we gave her this great tip, right? It was a great tip. She came back. She was so great. And, kind of teared up, because, usually when you do that, somebody's talking about, you just came through at the right amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
My dog died or something. I was going through this. Interestingly enough, went to that IHOP another time, and she was there, and she said, "Oh yeah, I remember you," and da da da. So she was just doing her thing, right? Pancakes were still pancakes, like nothing different. But here's the interesting thing: when the check came, she said, "It's on me." Right. It's on me, because she remembered the time before of going in there, right, and leaving her that tip and what it meant to her, and then the next time she remembered that. Okay, this is all on me, right? And that's not. And at that point, it was more, okay, manager, that person right there. Oh, she was amazing. Like, and I know they did not train her to say, yeah, somebody gives you a great tip, go and give her,
But
give them a free.
Ted, that's the most important thing in a business is you shouldn't have to train that.
Yeah.
And what most businesses are missing are the autonomy around that experience. Let your people do great things.
Yeah.
Let them be creative. That's the part of this process, the relationship building, the uniqueness about it, the surprise effect. Give them the latitude and the budget to do. I call it a caring budget in the book, right? Instead of a marketing budget, you have a caring budget, right? Are you really buying cards for people? Or are you making your sales reps buy their own cards? Like what? How committed are you to the process? And you also have to be willing to take time, right? These things take time. The work you do now pays off in 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you got to play the long game. Got to play the long game with this stuff. You can't be numbers driven. You can't focus on the numbers. You have to be willing to care about people without getting anything in return. Your time will come. You will get it. I just got a referral for somebody. Have a group coaching program. It's short money every month, and I got referred for what I thought was one-on-one coaching with somebody, and it ended up being a group call because he couldn't afford the one-on-one. Totally fine with that. That referral took 16 months from the time I met the person who referred this prospect to me. It took 16 months.
Wow.
And I get $49 a month. But I don't care about that. Like, that doesn't bother me, right? I use that as a case study to say, this is what can happen. Your price points are going to differ than mine, right? And so are you willing to wait the time necessary and do the work necessary to stay in touch with people to deliver, to be there and be in their mind when someone else needs your product or service? Too often we quit too early.
Wow.
So Matt, talk about this. So like Richard Branson has this thing where he says your internal customer comes first. Then if you take care of the internal customer, they're going to take care of the external customer. So do you think how the company treats their employees can impact, how the employees, especially in a service business, how they, what they do to create raving fans?
For sure, Eric. I mean, here's the deal. We've heard this, or maybe the audience hasn't heard this, but people don't leave bad jobs. They leave bad bosses, right? And customers don't leave bad companies. They leave bad people. Something happened. Well, when I'm talking about the pool service, by the way, my pool has worked fine since they fixed the thing. That's not the problem. The problem isn't that the pump thing doesn't work like it was broken before and wasn't working. It works fine now. The problem is all that it took to get there, and the after communication is just garbage, right? And so that's not a function of the work. That's a function of the people, right? And so, and by the way, I'm not going to be the guy that argues with Richard Branson about anything. Right? The guy's loaded and has gotten somewhere for a reason. But regardless of all of that, I think that you have to look at this idea that if you give latitude internally, if you give flexibility, if you give budgets, if you give accountability and give them decision-making capabilities, then they will perform in ways that you could never imagine, ways in which you would never think to serve a customer or go out of their way. An employee might get up from their desk and literally drive to a customer's office when you would never allow that before. But think about that experience, just to bring a part or to bring something. Absolutely, that the culture of caring will go external if it's present internal. And furthermore, I've done talks for HR organizations, for SHRM, on the idea that how to recruit and retain employees through word of mouth referrals. It's the same concept. You care about your employees so that they refer people to come work for you because they refer people like them. If you have bad employees, they're going to be referring people for bonus money. You don't want that.
Yeah.
You want people to work there, not for the money, but for the culture, right? And when you do that, that's what happens, you know?
Wow. That's
That's
good
good stuff.
That's interesting. I had an employee that worked for us a while ago, and matter of fact, with us for like maybe two stints. And at one particular time, he was telling me how he had told his wife that we were as he was, looking at these different opportunities, that we were the nice people company. Like, I guess, the the follow up that he had from the HR, person that we had that was, speaking to him and following up with him and everything. That's what he remembered of us, being the nice people company. And so, yeah, that's, you definitely want to, that whole culture of caring, that's a serious thing right there. And we look at those examples that we talked about, the Ritz Carlton and the Chick-fil-A. It sounds like, okay, yeah, there's a culture of caring that's there, and it's a system, right? And the people come in, the employees come in, this is how we do it. We care about our customers.
And the caring doesn't even have to extend to customers. I had a podcast years ago. It ran for 2 years. It's called The Square Peg Round Hole. And the fifth episode of that podcast, the guy from 9 Round came on, Shannon the Cannon Hudson, out of Greenville, South Carolina. And he created a franchise, and he went to 100 franchise locations really, really fast. But at the time, we weren't doing video recording. It was just audio. And so he couldn't see me. And he was like, fitness this, fitness that. And I finally said, look, Shannon, you can't see me. I'm a pretty big dude. Fitness doesn't really fit my vocabulary unless I'm fitting this whole pizza in my mouth. So we had a great laugh, right? Just like this, right? When the podcast episode comes out, I call Domino's Pizza in Greenville, South Carolina. I order a pizza, and I have them right in the lid of the pizza. Thanks for coming on the podcast. Hope you fit this pizza in your mouth. And I had it delivered. Wow. Shannon the Cannon Hudson and 9 Round never bought a single thing from me. They were never a customer of mine. We never exchanged money. But that is a memorable experience. And oh, by the way, I had the employee text me a photo of and I use it in my keynote now. So even though no money exchanged hands, look at the story I got out of giving somebody an opportunity to be on a podcast. We laugh about it, then I do the thing, and it costs me money, and then it ends up in my keynote, right? And so you don't always have to have an exchange of goods and services of any kind and money just to have a great experience. I mean, at the end of the day, you guys could send me cases of bacon for coming on this podcast.
Yeah. No. Is it turkey bacon, or do you want pork bacon?
Who cares? It's bacon. I don't even care. I think it all tastes the same.
It's in the bacon.
You wouldn't believe the bacon stuff I get in the mail now.
That's
bacon jerky.
Yeah.
Bacon jam. Bacon chocolate. Somebody sent me a bacon, like a bacon gift pack, and it had a package of bacon in it, but it had all like 6 other accessories in there of bacon items.
A bacon kit, huh? You got like a bacon.
Yeah, it was like I think they sent it from like some like Mantown website or something, because it was all like about bacon, and it was a gift box of bacon stuff that clearly the company had sourced from all these different places. And there was a bacon, there was a box of bacon brittle in there, like peanut brittle, but bacon in it.
Man.
And it was spicy. Yeah, all kinds of different stuff.
Good stuff.
Yeah. It's good stuff. I mean, it's fun to see what people will do, what lengths people will go to find out information. I recently went on a bucket list trip driving an ATV to the Grand Canyon. And as part of the onboarding experience, they include all food, all snacks, and all booze, as well as non-alcoholic drinks. And they sent us a questionnaire of the stuff we'd like. And they made sure that they went to Costco or BJ's or wherever it was they went, and they bought all this stuff. And then when they opened up that cooler of all that booze, there literally was in there something for everyone who had filled out the form. And so they nailed the customer experience with that. And because what would it be like if the A didn't ask or B asked and didn't deliver? That's just as bad. So,
wow. Now, this is good stuff. So what's next on the horizon for you?
So I've got the high five effect, how to do business with people that bring you joy, and I'm talking a lot about that. And I'm running referral accelerator programs and ways to help people get more referrals. And I'm very choosy on what I take on as clients. For me, freedom is the most important thing. I wrote about that in the new book, and I define freedom as doing what I want, when I want, where I want, and how I want. And so I don't book appointments on Fridays, and I don't book them on Mondays. I choose to take calls if I want to those days, but if you use my calendar link, you can't book those days. I block off mental health days all the time, and I go out on the boat, or I go ATV riding, or something like that, or just do nothing, sit by the pool, because I burnt myself out in the web agency doing it so much that it had a stranglehold on me. I literally had to get up every day and work that business, and I didn't like that part of it. So now it's all about choice, right? I'm doing more speaking as more speaking opens back up in the country. That's starting to come back, so that's exciting. And just recently got booked for a gig in January in Oklahoma City. Sadly, I had to turn it down because I have a vacation that week, but it's whatever. The vacation is more important to me than the money, right? I mean, I want to speak, but I don't do what I do for the money. Yeah. I never do that. All I do is ensure that I don't go backwards today from a financial standpoint, but I'm not looking to make $1 million. That's of no interest to me. I came from nothing, right? So went to a private tuition-free boarding school founded by the guy that created the chocolate bar, Milton Hershey himself. And most people don't know that school exists, but it's in Hershey. And I'm the youngest of 3 boys, the first to graduate high school and the only one not to go to prison. So that school changed my life, right?
Wow.
And so I just don't want to be poor again. And so I'm good. I'm comfortable with where I'm at. I'm making whatever number I am. I don't even track the number. I'm just like, can I pay my bills this month? I'm good, And but I want to live life. I don't want to work. I was such a workaholic that I just don't want to work the rest of my life. I want to enjoy life. I want to go do things, experience things, whether it's something as basic as going with a friend or family member to paint pottery, and then picking it up a week later after they fire it and looking at, I painted that, or going to like a glass blowing thing and like learn how to blow glass and do that stuff. Or I like to scuba dive and snorkel. So go down to the Keys and do that, or that's what's on the horizon for me. And then eventually, I think in 3 years, I'll write another book about my 10 rules of business, which are the 10 principles that I feel like need to exist in a small business. So that's fluttering around in my head. I pulled some of that out of this new book because I felt like it didn't fit, and so I've got a good chunk of that ready to go for the next book. Yeah.
Matt, you a good dude, man. You seem like we're gonna be friends, man. You're gonna be looking at your phone, like, this is Ted calling again, man. Like, you that type of guy, man. We're gonna get
anytime. Just don't call collect. I'm good.
That's right. I don't know about that. That's right, man. But no, that's really cool.
Yeah. We could have been friends before if y'all didn't keep canceling on me. I told these people that y'all didn't do this every week.
Well, I'm gonna tell you. Interestingly enough, about a week or so ago, I was in Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Oh, really?
I had to go there for a conference. Eric will tell you. So we were talking about Hershey. I'm like,
yeah. Was it at the convention center?
Yeah. And everything was chocolate.
Yeah, it smelled like chocolate there, right?
It smelled like chocolate.
Yeah, and the street lights are wrapped in unwrapped Hershey Kisses.
We even went to some place called, was it Chocolate World?
Chocolate World. It's right at the park. Yeah.
Everything was chocolate.
So one of the cool things I do is because I tell the whole story of the school while I'm there. So when you went into Chocolate World, there's a mural, by the way. There's a mural in Chocolate World of Milton Hershey sitting on some steps with a bunch of little kids. And it's a commemorative to the school, and actually one of my classmates is in that photo. But But and it's a painting. So, but I tell the whole story about the school, and I talk about surprise when I was telling you about surprise, unexpected gift, and unexpected time. And I usually do an audience interaction with people, and I give away a 5-pound chocolate bar.
No, nice.
And you can buy those at Chocolate World. You can also buy them online. You can buy them at Chocolate World in New York City and Chicago as well. I like to buy them in Hershey. But yeah, I give away a 5-pound chocolate bar on stage when I'm doing a live gig. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. And then I actually have 3 tattoos that are all related to Hershey in the school.
Nice.
Yeah.
He was I think the kids at Hershey, like his story is crazy too. Like didn't he go bankrupt a few times?
Yeah.
He was like it failed at all these businesses and
yeah. So if you pick up my new book, The High Five Effect, in the very first preface, it's called The Sweet Smell of Success. And in there, I talk about the school and my parallel journey, parallel to Milton Hershey. Why I look up to him like I do, what he taught me, even though he never met me, and what it all means to me and how it all relates to the business. The funny thing is, you're right. So he dropped out of school with a 7th grade education. His dad left the home, so he was in a broken home like me, right? He didn't graduate high school. I did, but he didn't go to college. He failed multiple times and filed bankruptcy.
Yeah.
I've been there. I filed bankruptcy in 1997. I sold my car on the street of Washington, D.C. when I left and went to Massachusetts for $50. It's all the money I had in my pocket on Labor Day in 97. And I started over. And within 5 years, I had a part-time web company, took it full-time by 2005. So that was, 7, 8 years? And then sold it for 7 figures in 2018 to a guy I met in a networking group. Shh. Hashtag follow me for more hacks, people. Let's go.
Wow.
Right? So, yeah, you're right. There's a lot of parallels. I love that you know the history of Hershey like that. Most people have no idea that Milton Hershey failed. He failed multiple times. Then he built a company called the Lancaster Caramel Company, and he sold that and used the money to break ground and build the Hershey Chocolate Company. And then he built a park for all his employees to hang out, and then park grew into this big amusement place. He built a bunch of housing for his workers, right? Yeah, I worked at Hershey Park my junior and senior year in high school. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I had no idea of all that until I took that trip. And I just happened to be reading some of that stuff. And I'm just like, this is crazy. I didn't know that he had this backstory. I assumed he just thought about chocolate one day and made millions of dollars.
That's what a lot of people think. Yeah. Guys, I wear one piece of jewelry. It's my high school graduation ring from Milton Hershey School.
Yeah.
That's it right there. Yeah.
Sweet.
Every day.
Sweet. Literally sweet.
Yeah, that's sweet. Yeah, that's right.
Wow.
That's excellent. That's excellent.
And a lot of what I talk about, this caring stuff, is where it comes ingrained from learning at the school, and his messaging that came down through the lineage of all the people that ran the school. So it's the morals and the ethics and the things I learned there. So yeah.
All right. So it's now time for us to go around the horn.
Let's do it.
And this is Ted's favorite part of the show, where we each leave a closing thought to help our followers to become unstoppable. So Matt, you're the guest of honor. What's that one final thought you want to leave the people with?
Look, I think there's so much going on in life. Our world is tumultuous right now. We have political issues. We have race issues. We have business issues, supply chain issues. We have economy issues. We have a lot of issues. And we can solve all of that. All of it. If we just care about other people. Just care. That's it.
Yeah, I mean that's profound.
So
it's that simple.
So I knew I had my final thought, and I said, Matt is going to steal my thought. So I'm just going to piggyback on Your final thought, because I just can't think of something else right now. But
All you gotta do is outrun me.
let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. So the whole thing, the culture, caring, and all of that, man, and and thinking about this from you think about it, kind of biblical standpoint, do unto others, right? And if you're thinking that way, right, and as you would have for them to do unto you, right? So if you think about it from that way, from a business standpoint, right, and you're treating customers the way you would like to be treated, right? And then it's kind of easy. It comes natural to you, right? Because we all like a great experience. We like a great experience when we go out to dinner. Eric, you're celebrating your anniversary. You wanted a great experience. I mean, that's why you went to the Ritz-Carlton. You expected a great experience, right? So then when if those people there are those employees and the leadership, ownership, I mean, it's not just about the money. And you treat people the way that you want to be treated. You just continue. I kind of always say like a happy, kind of happy employees, happy customers, the dollars are gonna come. You just keep doing that, right? You just keep doing that. They're gonna come. 'Cause people are gonna come back. People are gonna talk about the experience that they had. So if you can have happy customers, happy employees, you don't have to worry about about the dollars, because they're gonna come.
No, I think that's true. I guess that's a great point. So my around the horn, it ties back to what we've been talking about. And there's a term they call it discretionary effort. Right? So employees, it's that little bit extra that everybody has to give, that they can give if they want to. But if they're not bought into the culture, they won't give it. Like, for example, discretionary effort could be staying to make that extra phone call. It could be running that customer home. It could be just doing the going above and beyond what your job description says. It's that extra gear. And I think, again, I think people will give extra, that discretionary effort to the customer if they feel like the company is showing discretionary effort towards them. And I just think that's why I just think in today's time, culture is so important. And the days of, my way or the highway, do it or I'll fire you. I mean, that has to end. And I think we have to focus on this culture where people are driven to go above and beyond and go the extra mile. And that's where that's how we create raving fans. Because if you notice, I guarantee you, the Ritz-Carlton is probably one of the best places to work if you're in that industry. If you poll them, they probably talk about it. I know, like the Four Seasons Hotel, if you're the janitor, if you whoever, no matter who you are, you have to stay there. Like that's a part of your onboarding. You have to actually stay at the hotel and experience the service. So I think the entrepreneurs that you're watching me right now, you've got people, you're in the service business. We need to focus on that culture that's going to motivate discretionary effort.
Wow.
Great point.
Man. This has been an awesome show.
Matt. Put it up.
Give him a high five. Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, listen, I was going to say it later, but I'll say it now. As I always like to say on every video I do on YouTube, don't forget to live happy, smile a lot, and high five.
There you go.
Everyone around you.
Give him a high five. And then shout out to Alan. Alan Cake is watching us. He says, give just 1 millimeter more than expected for total success.
Thank you, Alan.
Great point. All right. Man, I'm inspired. I'm ready to make it happen.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Absolutely.
As I like to say in one of my talks, what's your next step?
That's right. What's your next step?
That's right.
There you go.
Right.
That's a great question for you, the follower. What's your next step? You got some great information from Matt. What you going to do about it? What's going to be different? You have to think. So, Matt, we're grateful for everything you shared. How can the people connect with you?
Absolutely. Yeah. MattWardSpeaks.com is the best place to reach me. I'm Matt Ward Speaks on all the platforms pretty much. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I hang out on Facebook most, but also on Instagram. I got the Twitters going on there. I don't think I have Pinterest. But But I'm on YouTube at Matt Ward Speaks and LinkedIn, Matt Ward Speaks. So you can find me. And let's hang out. Let's have calls. Let's have phone calls. Let's have networking chats. And on my websites, my contact information, my cell phone number's there. If you want to text me. It's all good. Just don't call me and sell me anything. Let's build a relationship. Let's see where it goes. Let me know how I can help you. Because I know a lot of people, and I can help you. Right? And so let's do that. That's how they can get a hold of me. I got all kinds of resources too, guys. That free. I got fireupreferrals.com, which is to fire up their referrals, get going, and tactical things to do. I got build your referral engine. I got the book link. So we got plenty of great resources for people. So
wow, good stuff.
I appreciate you guys having me on the phone on the podcast here today, and I'm gonna make sure that I take care of you. You guys are gonna get copies of my book. I do have a Black Friday special. I should tell people about that, huh?
Absolutely.
They get a copy of my More Word of Mouth Referrals book in paperback, and a copy of the High Five Effect in paperback as well. And they go to my website, mattwardspeaks.com/Black Friday. It's $20 for both books, shipping and tax included. I'm losing money.
That's a great deal. People need to take advantage of it.
Pandemic special. Black Friday. Yeah. But Ted and Eric, I'm going to make sure you guys get copies of both those books in the mail, so we'll make sure we get your address and take care of you guys.
Thank you, man. We appreciate it, man. We're going to have you back, man. This is just...
Oh, I'm happy to come back. Actually, I think next time we should do it in person, maybe from the boat.
Sounds good to me.
It's warm in Florida, I'm just saying.
Is that where you're in Florida?
Right now I am, yeah.
Nice.
I split time between Mass and Florida, but, a little cold up there.
No, that's sweet. Definitely, man. We're gonna have to do that, man. And get some bacon. You're allowed to bring that in your check baggage. I'm just letting you know. Man, I'm trying to tell you, man. I feel like making a BLT. All this bacon you talking about today, man. I can't remember last time when's the last time I had a good BLT?
Oh, it's been a while. It's been a minute.
Don't overcook the bacon on that though. It's gotta be nice and soft. Yeah, on the BLT, it's gotta be a little soft. You gotta be able to bite into it, but not too hard. You don't want to be crispy and have it flake out on you and all over your shirt and stuff like that. You don't want that that kind of BLT. No.
On the BLT.
So, man, it seems like you have studied this pretty closely here.
I just eat it. I just eat it.
A true bacontologist we have.
There you go.
Bacontology. That's a good one. You guys are the best. One of the most fun podcasts, Facebook Lives I've ever been on. This is great.
Oh, thank you, man. We appreciate that. We just like to get together like friends and just sit around and have virtual wings or virtual bacon. Man, just a couple friends just getting together, but sharing some good content. And you just made that easy for us, man. Just good nuggets. Yeah. So we support, man.
Absolutely. So hopefully people will share the show.
Share the show. You gotta share the show. Don't keep it to yourself.
Hopefully we said something that made you laugh, that made you learn, and helped you to level up. So don't keep this a secret. So this has been a fantastic episode of the 30-Minute Hour podcast. Make sure you go back and listen to the replay on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or any of those podcasting platforms. Thank you again to Matt Ward for sharing everything you shared. And until next time, have a great one.